Did somebody say that on a show one time?
In a sad note, Donald Trump was indicted today. I don't know what they're going to do.
Thoughts and prayers.
You ready?
Yep.
Do you want to clap or something?
I feel like I should.
I think you should. Okay.
Welcome back to the podcast, The New and Experienced Investor. I'm the new guy, Alex Barnett.
And my name is Joe Holmes, and I've been investing in real estate for over 40 years.
I've been investing since 2021.
Right after COVID.
Right after COVID. Strange.
Copy.
Today we're talking about a topic that I think a lot of people wonder about, and you see it all over YouTube. You see the headlines, the clickbait. How to invest in real estate with little to no money. Is it possible?
It is possible, actually. It is possible.
Because I gotta say, there's a lot of misconception that you need to save up your 20 to 25% down. Out here in California, that's a couple $100,000 easily. But you're telling me that it's possible with little to no money.
I'm telling you it's possible. Now, it's up to the individual to make it possible.
Oh, I knew that.
Because nobody's going to give you anything, and you have to work very hard to get these type of deals. So it's not like, call me tomorrow and I'll show you how to get, no money down deals, and then you don't want to do anything to get no money down deals. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, some seller financing subject to using other people's money, partnerships. We're going to talk about all that. Hopefully in the next 30 minutes or so on how you can accomplish buying something with little or no money down.
Oh, my gosh. Before we do that, please share the show with your friends. Our podcast is available now everywhere where podcasts are available, but we need some reviews. So what I'm thinking, we need to entice these people to leave reviews. If they leave a review and they screenshot it, and they email it to one of us, I want to give them something. What can we give them?
I don't know. What do you want to give them?
We're going to give you guys a cold calling script that we have both used to make some money. I don't know the exact price.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only caution I give you with this cold calling script is Alex loves to talk. So he's on a phone call with a seller for like 45 minutes, and I'm trying to teach him to cut that down to 5 to 10 minutes and move on to the next one.
It's hard.
But today's conversation was 45 minutes about. Yeah.
They end up unloading their whole life story.
Yeah. No, that's the problem. Oh, that's it's kind of like walking into a senior community and door knocking, which you can't do anyways. But let's say you do. Let me give you another analogy about a senior community. So my son-in-law and I were in a senior community. We're looking at a property that we were going to flip, and there was these senior ladies. They were putting something up on the tree that was really high. My son-in-law is 6'7". And so I said, can you go over there and help these, poor old ladies? And he went over there, and then here it comes. There comes the conversation. Thank you, young man. You're such a nice young man. And by the way, we've been trying to get the association to do this and that. And we were there for like 15 to 20 minutes until I finally said, hey, we've got a call. We got to go. We're going to go look at this property. So, so just be careful with that.
Yeah, keep it brief, get the information you need, and get out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get sucked into their whole life saga.
Yeah, because they'll tell you everything.
That reminds me, I have to call Frank after this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and, maybe start diving into some possible strategies, some techniques as far as investing in real estate with little to no money down. Maybe we can give just a brief overview of, the different types of real estate investments where this could apply. Does it work for rentals?
rentals,
flips,
flips,
wholesaling.
wholesaling.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Amazing.
much everything.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And okay, why don't you just go ahead and start us off?
Okay, let's talk about seller financing, which is probably the most popular and the easiest to do. So you're talking to a seller that has a property for sale. Usually it's going to be what we call a tired landlord. And what you also need to know is baby boomers like me are getting to that age where we really don't want to deal with a lot of headaches anymore. And so that may be the case. You call this person, he's a tired landlord. He doesn't want to deal with this property anymore. How much you want to give me? You give him a price. He says no. You go into, okay, well, I can probably do better on the price if you consider seller financing. And then you go into another 5 to 10 minute conversation explaining what seller financing is. And it's really simple. It's basically they're taking the position of the bank. So they're becoming the bank. So a $500,000 purchase, you offered them $300,000. You wanted to do seller financing, so you said, okay, I can give you $400,000 for this property, but you need to do seller financing, which means you're going to carry back the mortgage on that property at whatever interest rates. I actually came across an email today, a property up in Big Bear. They were talking subject to, and we'll talk about that when we're in the subject to phase. But seller financing, the seller really converts himself from being a landlord and having to take care of all those issues to just receiving a check from you every month in the mailbox and not having to deal with headaches or anything like that. So that's hopefully you got the concept. It's just pretty simple. It's easy to do. You open up escrow. Escrow pretty much does everything for you. They create the note that goes with the trust deed. You have to negotiate the interest rate. You have to negotiate the time period. So, for example, if it's going to be like a 3 to 5 year deal, you may be okay paying him $400. If he wants to do like a 30-year note on this property, just like a bank would do, you might want to even pay more than that. The next thing you want to negotiate is the interest rate. So again, you want to try to keep the interest rate as low as possible, but that also depends on the price. Everything in real estate is negotiable, so you have to take all these things into account. So again, we'll talk about it in subject to the deal that I saw that was put together, because it was both subject to financing, which I'll talk about, and it was also seller financing. But negotiate. It's my philosophy. And I guess that's good because you're talking to somebody for 45 minutes. You build that rapport. They get to like you. This guy said, I never answer my home phone, but I answered it. And by the way, call me back on my cell phone. Okay. So yeah, there was some rapport building there, which was good. You know, I don't know if we can even do a deal with this. I mean, he's pretty far gone.
He just needs a shoulder to cry on at this point.
Yeah. And you lent it to him.
I
You
was
lent
that
it to him.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's honestly the pitch that I use when I'm broaching the concept of seller financing. They're used to getting the monthly payments, and I say, hey, why don't we upgrade you from being a landlord to a lender? Because that's who's making all the money on these real estate transactions are the lenders, the banks. So you become the Bank of John, and what sort of terms can you give me? And I just explained to them, in order for me to make this a deal, I need to get a renter in there, be able to cover everything with the rents. So oftentimes I'll show them my underwriting of like, where this is pretty much the payment I can get to you. And oftentimes the rents that they were receiving before are undervalued, so you can come in, bring it up to market rents, then you build your cash flow in there. Boom. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the conversation. It's all about the knowledge that you have to put these type of deals together. I can tell you, a vast majority of people have no clue what we're talking about. Even real estate agents probably have no clue. They took that on their exam and never really dove back into that idea or concept.
Yeah. And I guess someone pointed out that seller financing and subject to, that's all in the typical car. Isn't there an addendum for
all that?
Yeah,
yes.
all that's in there.
Oh, yeah,
so some people will say, "Oh, this
It's
is illegal. You can't do this."
No, it's all there. All
California,
the documents. The problem is that a particular agent may not know that
Right.
it's there or how to use it.
Yeah, but that's amazing. You could point out to them that this is in the California Association of Realtor paperwork.
Yeah,
it's all in there,
Mm-hmm.
so they can make it happen. So
Yeah.
you can do this with on market deals as well. You'll just have to cover the agent's commission typically, or maybe you can come out of there
Yeah.
if there's a down payment involved.
yeah,
But we're talking about little to no money down.
yeah. And
So
these deals can be had seller financing, little or no money down. Again, $500,000 purchase, you offer him $400,000, he accepts. Then you say, you do seller financing for the whole thing, $400,000. Yeah, why not? That's more money that's coming into my mailbox every month. Why not? The other reason that sellers do this is you only get taxed on the money that you receive that year. So instead of paying, the 20% capital gains tax on everything, you only get taxed on that gain that you receive that year. And then obviously every year thereafter, Uncle Sam is always going to get their money, but this way they don't get it all at once and up front. So you're not paying Uncle Sam all that money up front. You're using it, to prolong paying that. So that's attractive to sellers.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay taxes.
Nobody.
Nobody wants to pay taxes, but it is what it is, and the laws are there and in place, and all you can do is ask and explain, and keep asking, keep explaining, and if they end up agreeing at the end of the day, and like I said, we're headed towards probably the biggest exchange. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but the exchange of money from baby boomers till their children. And so, maybe the baby boomers don't want to leave their children a property that they have to manage or anything like that. Maybe they're just willing to sell it and do owner financing. And that way, when they're gone, they're still getting that check in the mail. So their kids can enjoy the check and all the benefits that they were able to put together during their lifetime, and now passing it along to the next generation.
So they can squander it?
Yes. Yeah, Hawaii, everything fun, nothing practical,
Right.
nothing like, hey, let's reinvest this in real estate or,
they
things
didn't have
like
to work
that.
for it. What do they care?
No, yeah. Good,
Yeah.
motorcycles, boats,
Right.
mobile homes,
Well, they didn't.
motor homes.
They didn't teach their children the value of the money.
No, well, hopefully they did, but most of them didn't.
Yeah, most of them didn't, or they just don't care. Now, I heard you mention subject to versus seller financing, so there's a difference.
There is a difference, and we did a podcast on subject to. So if you want to, go back and look at our podcast on subject to, you'll get a lot more information. But subject to is basically, okay, $500,000. We have a $300,000 loan, and you're taking that loan over subject to. So if you've offered this person $500,000, you're going to need to come up with $200,000 for this property instead of the whole $5,000, and you take over the loan, the existing loan that's on there, subject to. Great way to do, to purchase properties. Those mortgages may be as low as 2.5%. We went through a really low mortgage rates 2 to 3 years ago. Those people, like in last year in 2022, Start of the year, they got some good rates as well, 3.5%, compared to what it is now, 3.5%. Those are great mortgages to take over subject to. They may not have a lot of equity, but what's worth the money in the property is the low interest rate and the ability to take that subject to. Now you combine both seller financing and subject to. Again, the same property, $500,000. The loan on it is $300,000. Then you ask the seller to take back seller financing. So here we go. No money down on a subject to property. Okay, you're taking over the $300,000 loan, and then the seller's taking back some seller financing for the other $200,000. So that's zero money down. Okay, so can you do it? Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
It's possible. And then I know you have a story, I don't know if this exists anymore, where you found somebody in the Penny Saver, which is just a free newspaper that we used to have out here. And you could put, it was before Craigslist, basically. It was Craigslist before Craigslist. Put all your stuff on there. Do you mind sharing that one?
No. This was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and this lady had advertised in a Penny Saver, for sale, condo, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, in our local area here, San Juan Capistrano, and she put takeover payments. And what was interesting about 40 years ago is there was really no subject to. You could literally take over any loan without a problem. The banks did not have an issue with that whatsoever. And so I took over the loan. There was a first, and then there was a second on the property. And the second, believe it or not, was at 14% interest. Okay. Wow. And the first was reasonable. I think it was like 6 or 7%. The property was $55,000. So we're not talking about $1 million here. $55,000. I went into the local bank. And it was, just a local bank. It wasn't one of the big boys out there. And I sat down and I talked with the bank president. And I said, your loan is due in like a year. It's 14%. I'm looking to renegotiate that to a lower rate. I'd like to keep it at 7%, which is where my other one is. And we just talked back and forth, okay, like human beings. And I think that's why a lot of people like local banks, because they can go in and talk to, an actual person that, can make decisions and is responsive to them. Sometimes the bigger banks, you can't go talk to Jamie Dimon and say, hey, can you modify this loan for me? It just doesn't occur like that anymore. But anyways, I was able to get them down. I started at 7. We were at 14. I was able to get them down to 10. He said no. My wife was there with me. I looked at her and I said, okay, well, I guess we're done. And we got up before we hit the door. He said, stop. I said, okay. He goes, I'll do it. So he modified the loan down to 10%, and then he increased the time out 5 years. Okay, which is awesome. I still own that property today. Wow. Yeah. If you're young and you're buying stuff that cash flows, I recommend you keep it for the rest of your life. There's no reason to sell property when it's cash flowing. The reason that I flip now is because there's not much here in California that cash flows, if anything. So for me to make quick money, it is flipping. So that's why I flip instead of buy and hold.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that brings us on to another way, no money down. Talking about flipping, because I was able to flip with no money down. So, it's all about relationships. So the next little section we're going to talk about is other people's money.
Yeah.
So.
He's talking about me.
I'm talking about Joe's money. So basically, I started off wholesaling under Joe and was just trying to build out my lead generation, doing the texting, honing in on those skills, talking to sellers, negotiating. And I came across a deal out in Hemet, California. And it seemed like a good flip. It seemed like something Joe might get behind, except for the one fact that it was a mobile home. Joe didn't flip mobile homes. But I said, wait a second, you own the land. This isn't leased land where you're dealing with a park necessarily. This is you own the land. And that piqued his interest. And so he came out, walked it with me. He said, you're going to need to get it, at least 20 grand less. And so I was able to negotiate with the seller. He didn't want this property anymore. It was one of those perfect situations. He just wanted the money. He inherited the property. It was getting vandalized. It was getting broken into. So we offered him $60,000 at the end, and basically the agreement was, we'll do the work, we'll drive out to Hemet, you put up the money, my wife and I, you put up the money, and then we split it at the end. So since I didn't have the money to put down, I put in the legwork. And so it seemed like a fair trade for both of us, a win-win, and we each made 50 grand. So there you go. OPM, other people's money.
OPM, yes. And although you did not have the expertise at the time, and that's what we've been gearing you up to do, to, learn how to flip and stuff. Each flip, you learn more and more as you go along. And, that's a perfect way to segue into, the last thing is partnerships. Okay, because that's kind of what we developed there, was a partnership. And in the partnership, again, other people's money, my money. And I had you do most of the legwork and everything. Obviously, I'm watching you, but sometimes not close enough. But I'm watching you. And, at the end of the day, we were successful. We've done 2 others.
Mm-hmm. Three others.
3 others. Mm-hmm. 3 others since then. So, partnering with people can be a way that you can buy property with no money down. The thing is that, you need to have the experience. Alex didn't have the experience, but he was learning. And at this point, if Alex wanted to, find somebody else that has money, he would have a good resume behind him. He could say, I partnered with Joe on these deals, and this is what we did at the end of the day. I know what I'm doing. I can flip, using your money instead of Joe's money. Is that a good idea? Your money instead of Joe's money.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, the more you put yourself out there on social media, maybe you can, that's sort of like the modern day resume. Show people that you've done some deals, show people that you have experience, that you can get a return. There's actually, you start learning that the money may not be the hardest thing to get. A lot of people in the beginning are saying the hardest thing to get is the money. But if you can get a good deal,
right,
you'll actually have a ton of people reaching out to you that,
right,
want to partner with you depending on how you can structure it. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. And that's the hard part, I guess, about finding deals with no money down, is actually finding the deals. Again, they're not going to walk over to you and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I'm a no money down deal. These are deals that he was wholesaling, he's cold calling, he's texting, he's door knocking. You got to put yourself out there, create some time that you're available, and, don't let anything discourage you. Just continue to move forward, and you'll find that deal where if you can't do it because you don't have enough money, you have the option of just wholesaling it to me. I'm happy to buy it from you and flip it. But if you have a deal that, it's going to make us both some money at the end of the day, then yes, I'm interested in that as well.
That's great. What about long-term holds?
Long-term holds here in California, you have to wait for the downturn to hit. I don't think we're going to get all the way back to where cash flows, maybe. But everything I'm looking at now doesn't seem to be the case. Low inventory right now, super low inventory, and there's not, a lot of deals out there to be had that would actually cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
So the market would have to probably go down another. I'm thinking the market's down 15%. I think it would have to go down another 25.
Wow.
Yeah, we would have to get pretty low.
Yeah.
You know, for example, the condo I was talking about earlier that I bought for 55, it's probably selling for about 450 right now. If that condo got down to 300 price range, which is a pretty hefty downturn, it would cash flow at the 300 price, but it needs to get down to that price range.
Yeah.
And I don't know that in this market, in this downturn, unless something terrible happens in the world, we go into a war or something, I don't see that happening at this point in time.
Yeah. I think most people are in California pivoting towards the short-term and mid-term rentals to supplement and get cash flow, but then that comes with its own host of problems.
Yes, absolutely.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got a property in Yucca Valley. I think we're going to end up trying to do a short-term rental, but I'm partnering with somebody that knows how to do it out there. But that one, it's like a $500,000 house, and the guy, we're going to take over his VA loan at a 2.9% interest, and he just wants $10,000 down. So,
wow,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, so you know that's little money down, I guess you could say for that.
I call it no money down. $10,000.
Yeah, has a pool, has a hot tub,
know.
solar panels, paid off.
Wow.
So could be pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's good cash flow coming in?
Yeah, it'll work as a long term, and then we were going to maybe do midterm because there's a lot of military out there, but then we met a short-term rental guy who has a bunch of properties out there, and he was saying if it has a pool, it could go, pretty nuts.
Wow.
So we're just going to partner with him and
sounds good.
yeah, see if we can, make some cash flow that way.
Yeah.
But the deals. That's the biggest thing, I guess. That's where you start.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just getting into it and you want to invest little to no money down, you can just start drumming up deals. And there's a ton of ways to do it. Joe has a bunch of courses online. Where do they find those?
My free courses are on getrealestatetrained.com. And you'll find a wholesale course there for free and a flipping course on there for free as well. Anybody run across any deals that, you want myself or Alex to look at, we're happy to give you our 2 cents. And if it's something that you want to partner with, as long as it's in the Orange County area, for Alex, Riverside and San Bernardino is also good for you. Mm-hmm. I don't like LA. LA has too many restrictive laws with tenants and stuff like that. And I don't go down to San Diego either. Mm-hmm. Again, that's really because of distance. So for me, anything in Orange County that you think might work as a deal, or Riverside or San Bernardino, any of those areas would be fine.
Excellent. Yeah, Joe's got a YouTube channel as well, a bunch of free content on there. Pretty much covering every single subject, so go over there and give a subscribe. And then if you want to see Lauren and I, my wife and I's journey from total beginner to financial freedom, check out our YouTube channel, Alex and Lauren Real Estate. Give us a subscribe, as well as subscribe and share this podcast with anybody new or anybody experienced, because you can learn a subject, but it's always good to get reminded that these deals are out there, and just cover real estate in general. So
why Alex and Lauren and not Lauren and Alex?
Well, I would put her first because that's how we get the clicks, but she doesn't want to do that.
Really?
Yeah, I know. She's a singer of a band.
Yeah.
Just shy, and
wow.
So, I know. So I said, all right, I'll put myself first, but
okay.
That's just
whatever.
That's just kind of how it ended up.
Yeah.
But she has her own Instagram, Lauren Barnett Real Estate. She's got some videos over there. But
Now
of course-
everybody's going to be rushing over to
I know
her,
that's how it is.
Yeah.
I try so hard to get people to watch my stuff, but they just
Yeah.
want to see Lauren.
Yeah,
So
well, I don't blame them.
yeah, me neither.
I don't blame them.
Me neither. So,
So
yeah, check us out on all the socials. Reach out if you guys have any questions.
thank you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. And remember, please subscribe and like this video, and we'll keep producing them once a week, hopefully.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
30 on the dot.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.